I'm here outside the Mezquita de Granada, a mosque located in Granada's historical Abbasid district. Granada has a rich religious history dating back over 1,000 years, and Islam especially has had a deep influence on the region's language, architecture, and culture. Despite this influence, however, Muslims across Granada and throughout Spain's Andalusia region face discrimination due to their faith and way of life. Some in the community say this is a result of a misunderstanding of what Islam stands for and what Muslims actually do in their place of worship. These are the mosque's public gardens. About 1.5 million people come to visit each year. Hisham Malara, a member of the mosque, says that Spanish Muslims in Granada came together in the 1980s to found it. What followed, though, was over 20 years of struggle before the mosque finally opened in 2003.
I think it was a combination of several things. First of all, not having the means, I suppose, financially. Then, of course, there were many people and many institutions that opposed it. Because, of course, think about it. I mean, at the time, to a mosque of this caliber, of these dimensions, to be established is actually the very first mosque per se built with the purpose of a mosque in the Albaicín in the last 500 years, more or less.
Since opening, La Mezquita Mayor de Granada has been the primary space of worship for Granada's approximately 10,000 Muslims, as well as for a number of Islamic tourists who visit the city. Still, however, the process of prayer in Islam is something that many outsiders have never seen before, which helps contribute to the misconceptions and opposition that Hisham spoke about. Here, Umar Farouk, who leads the Adhan, or call to prayer, goes to the process of prayer, beginning with the wudu.
The wudu is basically a purification of our body, let's say, which we have to take it before we enter to the mosque, or before we're going to pray, or we're going to read the Quran. And I'm going to do the adhan, which is the call for the prayer, and then I'm going to pray. It is obligatory to clean yourself before you're going to pray, because we during the day we do things like going to the toilet, or even taking money, which is there's dirt everywhere around, so you should clean before you pray.
After the wudu, Umar heads to the top of the minaret, where he does the call to prayer. Muslims typically pray 5 times a day at specified times that can be found on apps like Muslim Pro. Because of pushback from the community, though, members at La Mezquita Mayor de Granada are not allowed to do the call to prayer for the earliest prayer of the day, nor are they allowed to amplify the sounds of the call, something that is standard at many other mosques around the world. For those who work inside the mosque, this limitation forces them to be hyper-aware of the times they need to pray, as the call to prayer is often not loud enough to reach them in their offices. The call to prayer is given on the minaret, which is a platform at the highest point on the mosque. The idea is that the higher you are when you give the call to prayer, the further the sound can travel to help inform people that it is time to pray.
The meaning of the adhan is the call for the prayer, and it basically says God, which is for us is Allah. Allah is the greatest, and Muhammad is his messenger, the last one. And come to the prayer, come to happiness, and Allah is the greatest. There is a story of the Prophet, which he asked Bilal, which was a new Muslim. He was the Muqaddim. The Prophet asked him to be the Muqaddim, and he told him to go on and give the adhan. And he asked him to go on the highest part of the Kaaba, and he basically jumped on top of the Kaaba and gave the adhan, and everyone could hear him. So we could say that's why we have a minaret too, because we need a higher level to give the adhan. Hayya!